Okay, today we're going to talk about 3 tips for the alleviation of back pain in the morning. Oftentimes when people have back pain, they notice it most when they wake up first thing in the morning. This sometimes could be suggestive that they're sleeping in a position that's less than neutral in the lower spine. We're referring to lower back pain, just to be clear here. This is the most common type of back pain. The first tip that we have is do not stretch within an hour of waking up. Oftentimes when people have lower back pain upon waking, you see them lying on their back, get into positions where they're really pulling the hips into deep flexion and rounding the spine, looking for comfort. But Dr. Stuart McGill, the foremost authority on spinal health, recommends that we not stretch within an hour of waking. He recommends that you get on your feet for an hour and move around, because the fluid-filled discs that separate and sponge between the vertebrae, all the fluid that's in the disc, much of it that will vacate the disc and flatten out over the course of the day will leave the disc by the first hour of being on your feet through that gravitational spinal compression. So after an hour of being on your feet, the discs are less fluid filled. You can picture a balloon that's sort of deflated, and now there's less pressure on the discs when you move the spine through different ranges of motion. So number 1, to reiterate, stay on your feet for an hour before you consider stretching. Number 2, find a position of comfort once you do stretch. And to do this, we want to reverse dysfunction. You could also consider number 2 to be just reverse your dysfunction. So if you're a person who has a rounded lumbar posture, you're in this position, then you'd want to do just the opposite. We'd recommend McKenzie exercises to reverse that. So in this case, for a McKenzie exercise, I would go hips to the ground, chest to the ground, thumbs framing my chest, and then from here, I'll look to the sky gradually as I press up with my arms, exhaling fully, and then take it back down to the original position, and then repeat. For a set of 10 reps would be a normal place to start off. Reversing your dysfunction if you're stuck in extension, like our power athletes often are, here I would do just the opposite. So I would lie on my back and do what we call terminal flexion rolls, where I'll just pull my knees to my chest, and then I'll just rock left to right, looking for comfort there. So that would be the number 2 suggestion, to recap, would be to reverse your dysfunction, find places that are comfortable for you. The third and final recommendation would be to get some muscle activation in a neutral position. And for that, we'd simply go to a front plank and a side plank. So the simple front plank would be here, and it's helpful if you have a partner to show you when your spine is perfectly straight and your hips are not rotated, meaning neutral. So here I'd go elbows to the ground, toes to the ground, and rather than being extended like that, I would try to find a spinal flat position or neutral position, engage my core, hold it for a period of 30 seconds, for instance, and then relax. And then I'll do the same on a side plank. So if I'm not accustomed to these kind of core exercises, I might start from the knees to reduce the resistance level, reach high, and then hold up in that position looking straight ahead. This would be a neutral spine, for instance. This would be left lateral flexion. This would be right lateral flexion. So being able to find that neutral position, hold the position for about 30 seconds on each side. Then we'll get some muscle support, some muscular activation in a neutral spine position, which is half the battle in avoiding pain.